The day didn't begin with birds or sunlight. It began with silence. The wrong kind. I stepped onto my porch before dawn and felt it immediately. The land was too quiet. No hum. No vibration underfoot. The system that fed my fields had gone dead overnight, and my stomach sank before my brain caught up. I ran. The pump house door was open. Splintered wood hung loose on one hinge. Inside, gauges sat frozen, needles pinned where they never should be. Then I saw the trench. Fresh, ugly, cut with confidence. A line had been carved straight through my soil like someone signing their name in dirt. I followed it, breath tight, boots sliding, already knowing the answer and hoping I was wrong. I wasn't. A brand new pipeline curved away from my land and disappeared beyond the fence line, headed toward the polished homes that had sprouted there a few years back. The subdivision with matching mailboxes. Identical lawns. Perfect smiles. I could hear water rushing somewhere ahead, moving fast, moving freely, not toward my crops. Away from them. My head throbbed. This land had survived worse than drought. It had survived banks, storms, and men with paperwork. But it had never survived theft this bold. I crossed the fence and kept walking. At the entrance circle of the neighborhood, a crowd had gathered. Trucks parked crooked. Phones out. In the center stood a structure I hadn't seen before. Stone basin. Tall sculpture. Lights still glowing from overnight. A centerpiece designed to impress. And shooting straight into the air was my water. She stood there too. Marilyn Hodge, chairwoman of the community council. Always overdressed. Always smiling like she knew something you didn't. She noticed me and didn't flinch. That was the part that hurt most. She waved. I didn't shout. I didn't need to. My hands were shaking hard enough to make my point for me. I asked one question. Just one. She answered like she'd rehearsed it. She told me the council had voted. She told me it was temporary. She told me the feature added value. She told me my land didn't look like it needed all that water anyway. Something in my chest went cold. I tried reason. I tried explaining seasons, root depth, timing. I tried telling her about the trees my mother planted and the fields my father had worked himself into the ground to protect. She listened the way people listen when they've already won. Then she said the thing that flipped a switch. She told me I could file a complaint. That was it. I left before I said something that couldn't be taken back. I went home and made calls instead. County office. Water authority, sheriff. Everyone agreed on one thing. It wasn't their problem. Paperwork moved slow. Slower than corn dying in heat. Slower than trees cracking from thirst. By afternoon, the soil had already changed color. I sat on the tailgate at sunset, watching the fields fade into shadow. I felt smaller than I had in years. Not angry, tired. The kind of tired that makes you doubt everything. My dog leaned against my leg, steady and quiet, like he knew words wouldn't help. That's when I remembered something my uncle used to say. He wasn't a farmer. He fixed machines. He believed in consequences. He believed that systems corrected themselves if you stopped standing in their way. I stood up. Before sunrise, I was back in the pump house. I shut down the old intake completely, drained it, cleaned it. Then I reconfigured the flow using equipment I kept locked for one specific purpose. Seasonal maintenance. Soil treatment. Harmless. Legal. Unpleasant. Very unpleasant. By mid-morning, the fountain began to change. First, the spray lost pressure. Then the color shifted. The crowd returned. Confusion spread. Phones came out again. And then it hit. The water thickened. Foamed. Turned a violent shade no brochure would ever approve. The smell rolled in like a punch. Sour. Heavy. Unavoidable. People gagged. Windows slammed shut. Someone slipped. Someone laughed before they could stop themselves. The fountain roared like it was alive. Marilyn screamed. She tried to shut it down. The controls didn't respond. She stumbled back, splattered from collar to shoes, her expression collapsing in real time as the neighborhood watched her unravel. Her voice cracked. She demanded answers from anyone who would listen. I waited until the pressure dropped, until the spray fell back into the basin, staining everything it touched. Then I walked over. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't smile. I explained one simple fact. If you divert a system you don't own, you accept responsibility for whatever runs through it. No threats. No insults. Just truth. The silence afterward was louder than the fountain ever had been. Questions started flying. Neighbors turned on each other. Board members demanded records, permits, votes. None existed. The installation had been rushed. Funds moved without approval. Boundaries ignored. By evening, the sculpture was wrapped in caution tape. By nightfall, meetings were scheduled. Emergency ones. I didn't attend. The next day, a crew arrived on my land. They filled the trench, removed the line, apologized more times than I could count. Checks followed. Formal letters. Official findings. Marilyn's name vanished from the council page before lunch. Weeks passed. The fields recovered slowly. Some losses couldn't be undone. Others surprised me. The trees bloomed late, heavy with fruit, deeper flavor, stronger roots. The neighborhood installed a garden instead. I still hear the pump every morning now. Steady, reliable, alive. And every time it kicks on, I remember that quiet before dawn. The moment everything could have gone wrong, it didn't, because sometimes the best response isn't a fight. It's a correction. A reminder that systems work both ways. That land remembers. And that entitlement dissolves fast when faced with reality. I water my fields. I walk my rows. I sleep well. And the silence never feels wrong anymore.